Whātalo whātui la whaafonga mai a Miki Samoa, tutuila mamanua i nei fwoi vaenga o tātou whasalaunga o le porkalame le nei whaapitoa a le talatala le taui. Mō le nei fwoi yaso, ai maise o le nei vā yaso. Ia ma o lewa e sinsila mai, o le amātou whaatala noa atuai, manisi fwoi o porkalame tāua, a wā le soifua manuia, ma le anga i luma o alo ma whanau a Amerika Samoa. O te whaatalo whātua i whaafonga mai ala o fionga le kovana, malu tena kovana, ai maise o lau lua kāpeneta, le fio le fono whai tū la fono i lau fionga le presidente o le senate, sui presidente, ma le mamalu o li i sentoa i tū malo te tasi. Le whaafonga mai fo i le mauta sui, le fio lau fionga le fonga whtalai o le mauta sui, e le ngata i leo le sui fonga whtalai, whai pule whiri e le palo taine i tū malo te tasi malo soi fua. Le vaenga o le whaamsinonga, mātou te whaatalo whātu i lau fionga le whaamsin sili, le whaamsino lango, mali o le whaamsinonga. O le tawhtolu ta otolna, o le whainga mālo o te tuila mamanua. E mōmo fwoi o nto e whaatalo whātu, i le fio lau fionga, i le malu o le whale, whailau tusi o mta o tau Samoa, le sui whailau tusi, e maise o kōwana o le whale lima, whaarupenga mali mautofi. O le malolo to i whale lena, o si o tātou tunu. Mātou te whaatalo whātu whioi o le tala lei tā masa o le ngā rue ngā le tua. I la tau o lo whawhale le malu i whata whaitau langa i fia. Ona o le aswina o le vai o le ola o Amerika Samoa ma ona tangata. Mātou te whaatalo whātu i ta māmatina mātua no whale le ngā teilea. O le loa loa o le tātou atunu. A mata mai tupulanga talavou e o lava i nei a tātou whanawiti e mafua ai le polkalame le nei. O le nei polkalame o whaingoina Raising a Champions. Ma le nei polkalame. O lo o mātou mafuta atua i nei stadion na o fo i mai lea mo le whaalau ilo ina o tātou mālo whaalalungia po tātou guest o le tātou show i le nei aso. For the benefit of our non-Samoan speaking audience, I would like to introduce the board and the people that will be rallying behind the new program, one of the new established program for American Samoa youths. And this program will be called Raising a Champions. Joining me today on our show is Ngaluenga Tangovailoa, the father of the famous and well-known quarterback of the Miami Dolphins, Tua Tagovailoa. And I'm very happy to welcome him on the show today.
Thank you.
Also, with Tua Tagovailoa's mom, and she is Diane Tagovailoa. And she is also served as a chief of operation for this program called Raising a Champions. On my left, I would like to introduce Mr. Daniel Miang. He is one of the well-known local businessmen, the man behind the success of our solar farms in Pawaiʻi. I believe they are also working on more solar projects in American Samoa.
Yes.
Joining us today is also a whionga ia tu ia whono, se tasi o tama whanau o tātou o tunu, ua loa o nā vea o se whaipisi nisi Amerika Samoa nei, malanga atu ia wai ma au ma wai fo i maritina o le ainga, ma o loo wha o pea o nā vea o se whaipisi nisi o mai teimi nei, le a whionga ia tu ia whono vai sua, mai le a whionga o a whono. O se tasi o loo lo tō ngā vale, o loa tau sanga o lana tau tua, o lawi loa i lona to mai i mea tau grants, malana ngā ruenga fōi, e whisota iai i le federal government Port Malo Federale, e ala i le aisiina o tupe, e whaatino ai ngā ruenga i Amerika Samoa nei, le whionga i a Jerome Yerome, mai le whioanga o tula, i le whali mai sai. Welcome guys.
Hello. Hello.
And let's discuss this and let's turn the floor to Mr. Ngaluenga Tagovailoa. Please introduce yourself and your wife. I'll give the floor to all of you to introduce yourself before I start asking a couple of questions about this new established program for the youth of American Samoa.
Yeah, but the more level of time, Sunga, Man, we're not too familiar with how the radio station, how these stations work, but we really appreciate your time and thank you for allowing us to be on your show. My name is Ngalbuena Tango Vailoa. I am from Vakia and also from Aua. I am the CEO and also the founder and owner and co-owner of Raising Champions, and that is my title within our Raising Champions. And I'll turn it over to Moon.
Yep. Diane Tango Vailoa. Thank you so much, Tango Man, for your time. Today, my mom is from Ta'u, Manua. My dad is from Amanave, and I've lived in Ewa Beach, Hawaii, born and raised, and we've lived in Alabama for the last 8 years. Went to enrolled into the University of Alabama, and that's been home for us for the last 8 years.
Gerald?
Daniel Miao. Been here for a little bit over 3 years. Started with building solar farm, part of Eastern Power Solutions, an Eastern family of corporations. We're out of Atlanta, Georgia. And we're a top 50 roofing company in the nations. We're a top 200 specialty construction company with $1 billion in bonding capabilities, and we're continuously expanding in not only American Samoa, but recently opened up office in Alaska and CNMI. Very excited to be here. He's also my former landlord. We used to rent from the we go a long way. So it's a pleasure to be here.
Ia whawtainga o muna mamua tapau ia o tu ia whono vai sua man lar whangai ia whono muswhau and alofal. We're with Eastern Solutions. This is my boss right here. So Daniel Young, and we're supporting the major support element for the Raising Champions, and it's good to be here. Of time will have Noah, and look forward to more opportunities to come.
Well, Mamua tau Moliapule Fafkai lava mole vungoa. I think this is kind of a marriage made in heaven for all of us. We're all from different business life, but we've come together on this particular project because of the drive from the Tango Vailoas and also our CEO Daniel put this together. And you hear what the project is all about, and also we're looking forward at the support team for the project and where it's going to take our youth and our talent from American Samoa forward. So as part of this team, I'm really looking forward to support the Tango Vailoa and Daniel on this.
Let's start from Ngalbuena Tango Vailoa. What is the core values and principle of this project, Raising a Champion program, and what it aims to instill in its participants or the local youth of American Samoa?
Well, basically, Raising Champions is about raising kids on and off the field. When we talk about Raising Champions, we're not talking about the worldly side of Raising Champions. We're talking about the spiritual side, more on their faith and how they carry themselves. We believe that if you believe so much in the good Lord to bless you and continue to, protect you in all the things that you do in life, then life becomes much more easier for you to kind of like gain, but also become successful in the things that you put your heart into. That's mainly our core value in this whole thing about Raising Champions.
Daniel, what is your role as co-founder of this and co-owner of this project?
Living and doing business here in American Samoa, you realize you always need a Korean as part of anything. not that Korean face.
Yeah.
In American Samoa, no. But seriously, I'm a partner because I'm honored to be a partner because I believe in the vision of not only raising champions in a sense of like the worldly sense, but also the spiritual, like that we talked about. My dad's a pastor, both of my brothers are pastors, and it's important that we leave something behind in this world. And mentoring and making disciples of nations, I think, is very important. And I just see such a big heart when I went to the training, the children and the high school and college athletes I saw something that's been driven, and I saw this what I call secret sauce. I felt like Nalu and Diane had this secret sauce of how to make people into a champion, not just the Tua and Talia, but they had this secret sauce of how do I convert this young person into truly a champion. And so I was like, wow, how do I become part of this? So I was jokingly saying, but for several weeks I've been bugging them. I'm like, go talk to them. And I emailed them, called them, and texted them, and it's like, you want me to do dishes? What do I do to be part of this great movement? And I've been very fortunate to allow me to be part of this Raising Champion, which is really making a difference and making a really discipleship of these young kids.
Yes.
Into not just for football, but in life. So that's how I got involved, and continue to hold on to the coattail, make sure I don't let go.
I believe you two follow your son Tua Tagovailoa from high school to the university level to the NFL, standing on a sideline and witness your son. What encourages you two to come up with this idea and establish this foundation?
Raising Champions started off really as just training and development on the field, off the field. I feel my husband and I make a great team because he handles everything on the field. Training, camps, drills, coaches, anything that has to do with on the field, it's Ngalwenga. Anything off the field with grades, schoolwork, even media, interviews, scheduling, when to do these interviews, who to talk to, who not to talk to. All of the things off the field was me, right? So I feel in that sense we make a great team. So Raising Champions started off with just that, the lonely work of training. We took that same concept. By the time we left to move to Alabama and we followed Tua to Alabama, it was over 200 kids every Sunday night in Emma Beach under the lights training,
Amazing.
Just free training. The leap of faith we took to move to Alabama and follow Tua there was my son was going to be in a different culture, different life. Ese ale life in Hawaii, ese kamiki i America. It was hard for me to let that go. And we took that leap of faith. We didn't know if it was going to work or not, but we took that leap of faith and just trusting in God that He has never forsaken us before. He's not going to start today. And really just believe, just giving it all, casting all our cares to God, and just trusting that there are no accidents. So even with us sitting here today, Tonka Man, everyone here at this table, this is not by accident. We feel God placed us in Alabama, took us there. We didn't know why. God knew why. He took us there for such a time as this, for us to be blessed with a bigger platform than we could ever dream of. So that's basically where Raising Champions started from. We took the training that Ngalu did in Hawaii, took that same concept to Alabama until today. That's what we're still doing. We're still helping kids, developing them as quarterbacks, as skills players, and then even helping the families with college visits, all of these different things that go on behind the scenes. That's what we're wanting to do, and that's what Raising Champions is about. on the field and off the field, and teaching and helping them go through life during football and after football, which we can speak on now too, because you've seen us, right, with Tua
Yeah.
and Taulia going all the way from high school to college, now to the pros. And then eventually there will be life after football. Now he's married with 2 children. And thank God, you know, he was able to get to his second contract. But there will be life after football that no one really talks about.
Tuya whanau?
You know, absolutely right. You know, everything has been said, and you know, it's correct. If you look at the documentary from Tua when he was young, it's just amazing. You know, very emotional, mentally and physically. How the dad nourished the son. You know, all the way up to the BWE, elementary, high school, college, and see where they at right now. So, and we're very fortunate and blessed that, you know, with someone that raised a superstar that they do it on their own, and they wanted to come back and share that mentality of training the kids. It's just amazing, you know. And I can take my hat off to the parents, because they wanted to find more to them. They wanted to seek more or better than Tua. So, you know, it's a great opportunity. And not only here, but all the Samoans that are, you know, in Hawaii and the mainland, you know, that's why we're here. And that's why this partnership with Eastern, with CEO Daniel Myung, you know, we can feel it, and we can sense that there's much energy and a lot of talent here. So, you know, just like Diane was saying, you know, we just leave it up to the man up there and just guide us to the right direction, and I know we just can do it.
And what's amazing is this message resonates with not just the Samoans, but when you go to Alabama, it's not just the Samoans, you have the African Americans, you have the Caucasians.
Right.
I don't see a lot of Koreans there, but it resonates, it really resonates, the spirituality, trying to raise champions out there, and that mentorship, the care, and they always start with a prayer. These practices you see in Alabama, and they end with a prayer, and just the sweat and the respect that kids have for Nalu and the program. It's really good to see what they're doing outside of America Samoa, outside of Hawaii, and everything else.
Exactly.
Jerome, do you have any?
Well, maybe I missed to say this in the early part of the introduction, but I remember Daniel called me and he said, "Hey, Jerome, I know you work for Eastern, but I need your help. Can you help Ngalu Tangavailoa for, you know, we're coming up with this raising champions. Is this something that you can help us with? We need to make some contact with so-and-so here and there." And I said, "Oh man, I didn't come work for Eastern to do this." but because he's my boss, just like what I said, I said, well, I guess I have to do this. He's the one paying me, right? And then Daniel said, "Yeah, we're gonna put you in touch. You know, Ngalu will get a hold of you and buy and then start moving this." So in the last maybe about a month or two ago, right?
Yeah.
So Ngalu and myself and then Mrs. Tangavailoa, you know, we all got into this call every single day, sometimes 2-3 times a day. Sometimes we call Ngalu and Ngalu's still sleeping, you know, because the time difference. We have to get on the phone and say, "Hey, can we talk about this? Can we contact so-and-so?" And here's the person that brought me into this conversation. He disappeared. Daniel said, "Hey, where's Daniel?" I said, "Oh man, Daniel is too busy." He said, "Oh man, so I guess we have to do this one." But you know, just to put the joke on the side, but you know, Tao, this is I actually devoted my time. You know, even Daniel and I was traveling to Guam 2 different days. It's a day before in Saipan and Guam, but we still have to get on a call. So I decided to. I think keep talking to Lalo this whole time, and I can feel the connection and the chemistry of trying to, his story of how they raised their kids, especially the two boys. And we've seen all of this on TV. And I said, man, I think I'll just put my time in and support this cause. So here we are. We're here together, and we'll continue to push this forward. And I know they have a very, very good development as a whole for our kids, not just their kids and not just the kids that they face every day, but they've brought this to our door for our kids here. So they've been meeting with the sports, the athletics here in American Samoa for DOE, and we're going to stand behind you and continue to push this program from here in American Samoa for our kids.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Ole tasi o tala tonunga o le tātou tunu. It takes a village to raise a child.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And o se fiafianga tele fo'i le maua nei awa noa wai le tō tele a tuua i le whatau tonga sa. E le se mea la o mai e fua ia ngā ruenga masi o na wharetua i Amerika Samoa. Ona e le i ola tua i nei, e le i fo'i ni se teimi na o la experiencing ai le mafutanga nei wha Samoa. Ai o se fiafianga. Ona o lea tātou te mai tauina. O toi fo'i mai e fisosoani i le atina enga o Amerika Samoa mon tupulanga. I believe you guys were meeting with the governor, and the Racing Champions Foundation is planning to bring the government to join force with the Racing Champion. Tell us about this meeting today with the Honorable Governor and Lieutenant Governor.
Thank you. We had a great meeting, a very great meeting with the governor and the lieutenant governor. One of the things that we talked about with the governor is to partner up with them and how we can get them on board to help families, on the island, in relocating them outside to where we can help them, and then how we can be a part of this family's lives in guiding, helping them, developing their players, the kids, and then having NIL, percentage come back to the government and helping. One of the biggest reasons why we're looking at that is there's been a lot of things that I've been hearing about, people from the islands or the government workers are saying, why don't we tap into the NFL kids who's made it, Samoan kids, and how they can donate money back to, Samoa. Well, there's been a lot of conversations that I've been having with a lot of these kids. Some of the conversations that we've had was, why can't we give back and help out to Samoa? Well, the biggest thing with these kids is they've been looking for help from American Samoa, from the government, and how the government could help them, but the government couldn't at the time. So they did it on their own. They decided to relocate their family, take the leap of faith, just like what we've done from Hawaii to Alabama. And they struggled on the outside, but they made it on their own. And so now when the government come asking, why don't they help? Well, it's hard for them to help when the government did not help them. They did on their own. They're helping, but they're giving back money to their families that help them. So we partner with the governor and the lieutenant governor, with that whole administration, is maybe this is a way how you can help and have these kids give back through their NIL, and they kind of like the idea. We've talked about it. There's nothing set in stone, but there's going to be a lot more conversation going on with this. But this is where we are right now with the governor and with their administration.
Yeah, well, just adding to it, when Nalua had his speech today, it was crystal clear how he brought it up, the mission and the focus, and also with accomplishment that will come after. So, it was a very productive meeting with the governor, and also Brother Daniel was add on to the discussion, and Diane. So I think with that being said, I think we see the fruit of our meeting this morning, and we'll just go back and and do our due diligence, as well as the governor as well, the government, and his staff, and particularly with DOE, the sports department, and with as well as the NOC. So we see that there's a light at the end of the tunnel that we can make this happen.
So, Mrs. Tangawailoa, now we know that you guys are establishing a program in American Samoa called Raising a Champions. My question is, how does the program define a champion? And what qualities do you hope participants or local youth can?
So, great question. A champion success is gauged and measured by different things, just like wealth, just like faith, right? The first thing with us is faith. Does the character, right? There's character, there's talent, there's all of these different things that will be in the process of selecting the kids that we wanna and the families that we wanna help. It takes a village to raise this child, so it's the child being well-rounded. It's not just the capabilities on the field, it's the academics, and then also with the parents. The parents have to, need to know what's going on with this child's journey, this child's process. So, what is a champion? A champion to me is a kid who does everything, goes above and beyond in the classroom and on the field. A champion to me is someone who finishes, not just starts, but finishes, gets their degree, and moves on. I've always told my kids, we have 4 children, and especially the boys because of the sports, but I always told them, I need them to get their degree. Anything after that is icing on the cake. And so they've done that. They've gotten their degrees. Anything after that is icing on the cake for me as a mom. And that's also the perspective that's different from a lot of other organizations or agencies that may have come and introduced different programs. I feel what's different about us is that we have the perspective of parents, Samoan parents, Polynesian parents, who have gone through this journey. Ngalu has a perspective of a dad and a coach. I have a perspective of a mom that's really different from a coach's and a dad's perspective. And I feel that's where sometimes the mom's voices may be overlooked because we don't know much about the sport. But that to me is what defines a champion. It's just someone who's gonna finish. Failure to us is not an option. We will have a process to go and follow through, but the main things for us is the character and their faith and
Real quick, I wanna, there's something I was hoping that Diane will say this, but there's something that Diane had said that is very important that I would like for her to go back to. You know, when you talk about, us Samoan grow up where we are very reserved, we're told not to speak. You just keep it to yourself. Can you talk about that? I know that's very
Yes.
important to
That's
raising
all,
of the.
part of our development, part of our training is to teach them culturally. We're wired not to ask too many questions. Right? Like, who are you to ask so many questions? When we ask so many questions, we're questioning authority.
That's correct.
But us as Samoans, we're not wired to do that. But in the U.S. mainland, we need to do that. And we've asked many questions. So that's why we were able to do the things that we were able to do. That's part of our training and our development too, because the parents don't really know what to ask. And neither does the athlete.
Yeah, and I want to say, Tau, because those, you ask about these qualities. I mean, I really like every time Ngalu and Diane talk about the way their kids, especially the two boys, were raised, and we've seen them because it's proven to us that it works. So the qualities and the criteria of to how to make up this whole person is because they live on a daily basis from whatever age the kids all the way up, and now, like as she said, Tua is now a father himself with two kids. I mean, we see the whole person develop as it is what we see today. So it's very important that they talk their experience and the journey that they have walked through as kids. And it's very humble for us, and I'm sure for them, to have them share this with us.
Yes.
Some of us and a lot of our kids here probably, we learn and we, kakuha ng ufa Samoa. Masangi kami kasama ako yung nevape. This is kind of like going to introduce them into something that they've never had their life gone through, but it's something that they need to know as they move on.
I always say that, do you know or do you think you know? When you're a champion, you've been a champion, and you have walked the journey, you've been there.
Yeah.
When you go see the Tango Wailoa and their family and the home, they're very successful. So obviously financially, everything else, they're very successful. But for them to take their time and try to bring others and show them how to be successful, I think that's a true champion.
Yes.
It's not just a champion when you make it one time, but how do I go back and bring others to be where you are? And, my wife would kill me if I brought so many guests to my house all the time. But every time I visit them, there's some guest there, some kid they're trying to mentor, and blessed Diane, she's has like so many families going through there.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yes.
I mean, for them to share this with us,
Yes.
and extended this into the Raising
Yes.
Champion is something that I mean, I don't know.
It's because we wished we had another family that would have helped us, guide us along the way. We made many mistakes. We made many bad decisions
Right.
that many may not know about, but we did. But now we feel it's now a new calling for us to help the next family,
That's right.
to
Yes.
help develop the next family, because why should we just stop with us? I feel these are all answered prayers. We pray to God to expand our territories, bless us with more than we could ever
That's right.
need, so that we can continue to bless others. So it'd be very selfish of us to just keep it to ourselves and
Yeah.
not help the next families.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my follow-up questions to that is, can you share any successful stories or testimonials from the past participants? I know you deal with a lot of kids in America.
Can I
Yeah.
take that question first?
Yeah, sure.
So I've seen 40, 50 kids under this program already. And there's one kid, Trent Seaborn.
Yeah.
They, I think third grade or like really young.
6 years old.
6 years old.
6 years old. They've been following the family around, and the whole family moved to Alabama. And he's considered top quarterback for 2026. And when you see the family and Trent, you can see the quality of the Tango Wailoa family. And it's not just that athlete, but all other athletes you see, there's a character about them. And there's this respect about them. I talk about how generous Tango Wailoa family is, but they're very strict. I see them saying no, and because they know what's right and wrong. And when you grow up in that mentoring, in that discipleship, you see a lot of kids that are coming out being really, really successful. And so sometimes we can say, Tua is very, very successful. Yes, he is. But I have the highest respect for the parents, because I feel like they're taking that, and instead of just being comfortable and making a difference in these kids' lives. And I think that there's a huge power in that too. So that's the one example I wanted to give.
That's one example. Another one is it's probably the next Trent Seaborn. His name is Johari Nation. He's only in the 8th grade, but he's the backup for Trent Seaborn. at the varsity level.
Wow.
As an 8th grader.
Wow.
And Ngalu had him too since he was 6 years old. So he's competing with the varsity level kids here. So we do have the testimonies of those kids, but we have other kids at other different positions. And those are just
So let's hear from the man that
Yes.
deals with it.
yes.
I'm gonna start this and I'm gonna throw to Ngalu. I was listening to Ngalu talk this morning with John at the radio this morning. You said something. I watched that game, 2018, 0-13.
Oh, yeah.
After the game, during the interview of Tua, remember that game he came out Superman, right?
Yeah.
What did he say in the interview? My parents gonna get mad at me if what did he say?
So said, I have to say this because if I don't, my parents are gonna get mad at me.
Yeah.
You know, because of how they, you know,
Yes.
they raised me.
Right.
But I want to give my Lord and Savior. I wanna thank my Lord and Savior.
You know, man, I say this because you know, there's a lot of us that really pay attention to sports.
Yeah.
I'm one of them. I mean, I watch a lot of this guy. I never told these guys I watched their son all the way up to that game.
Yeah.
But it's very important because these are the qualities of raising a kid.
Racing a champion.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only them they can talk this story because they live it every single day
Yeah.
until he became an NFL player.
So let's hear from the that works with these
kids.
champions on the field.
Right.
I think it's a lot more than, you know, and you can't count your success. You got to continue to build success. I think one of the things that, for me, that really started this is I love my kids, but I love God more. And,
Amen.
Absolutely.
and I wanted to do something to where it was going to allow God to love my kids. And part of that was my work to help other kids. Because I felt that if I help other kids and gave back to those kids, the Lord's going to help my kids. I don't worry too much about my kids because God's going to provide for my
Amen.
kids. But that was just me as a father, the way I thought about how I did things. A lot of parents and a lot of people tell me, Namu, why do you train more quarterbacks? Though your kids aren't good already. You should just concentrate on your kids. But their way of thinking was completely different from my way of thinking. I felt that if I did my work, what the Lord want me to do, then the Lord is going to do His work on taking care of my kids, you know. And I've always trained these kids for free. For all these years, I've trained these kids for free. And I wanted that because I love my kids. I wanted my kids to be successful. And I felt that that was the way, if I do my due diligence, the Lord is going to do His, you know. And that's how I started training them. So working with these kids and these younger kids, it was never a thought of, okay, they're going to be successful. They're going to be, but I poured my heart into it.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Without even thinking success. But at the same time, I didn't know that the Lord was thinking success upon these kids. So as the years went on, I've always asked the Lord, why aren't my kids getting better? Why aren't, I'm not talking about my boys, I'm talking about the kids I'm training. But not knowing there are, but I'm just not monitoring. There's so many kids I'm coaching, but I'm not monitoring their success, which they were so successful and they were telling me, Coach, I did this, I did that, I did good at this, I did. But now my mind is all on my boys' games. I'm not thinking about
Yes.
their success because my job was just to go out there and help and develop and work with kids. And now that my boys have gotten their future and they're secured with their future, now my eyes are getting to open and see the success
Yes.
of the kids that I've been working with all these years,
Yes.
not knowing that that was God's work in through me doing my work. You know? So that's why I love it. I love doing and I think coming back to Samoa, this is a gold mine for Samoa. There's so many kids, the size, the athleticism, but a lot of things you do question, but you can't question that with the coaches and what they're doing. You only question that with the Lord and your relationship that you have with Him. What's the reason of Him bringing us here? What's the reason of us, trying to start this thing? And how do we create this whole Raising Champions to help kids here to become Raising Champions? The one thing with kids out here is they're such honorable kids. They love their parents. They respect their parents. Everything is church. I won't get missing your best and all these things. These kids gotta rush home from practice to do these things. Why you don't see that? You don't see that through different kids, but you see it here. But why aren't these kids as successful as the kids out there? Because they're so honorable, very respectful. So I always ask myself, Lord, why our kids not as successful as the kids?
Yes.
So there's got to be something that we need to dialogue and talk about and see what we can do
Yes.
to help these kids because they deserve it.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Some of the things I tell the parents too, back in Samoa, ben I didn't ka awa alo kamalaya. Just give me some with Fali. I'm not practice. Sorry if I fail you. Never wait for me. I can't get found for you. And I can, you come late. We need you to do this. They're so more worried about their fit hours than the future of their kids. You know what I'm saying? But with some parents, I understand. They're older. They don't have, the younger ones to come up. So they depend on these kids. But how can we help these families so they don't depend on their kids, but help their future? So those are some of the things that we dialogue a lot and we talk about. And I know the life I've lived here. For 2 years and I've lived it. It's not an easy life back then. But you wake up in the morning at 4:30, you go to shower, get ready for school. You don't eat breakfast. If I eat breakfast at the school, you know what I'm saying? Because my family weren't wealthy enough to feed us breakfast. Then you come home, then you cook food. And every kid are out there playing, but you're sacrificing trying to. So I've seen that life. I've done more things in my life than my wife have ever done since she has lived today. You know what I'm saying? I've done so many, but I understand it. I see it. So now my passion and my grind for these kids is high. I want to come in. We went to Whangaipua's practice. Was it Whangaipua?
Tafuna.
Went to Kafuma's practice. I went and saw these kids sitting on the side. I went and talked to the coaches. I know the coaches. They said, I said, can I just help with the kids? Because that's my drive. So I started helping with the quarterbacks. I started helping with the receivers. Started going over routes, have them run routes, make them understand that it's not easy. Everyone thinks success is easy. You know what I'm saying? If successful is easy, we'll all be successful.
Yes.
But it's not easy. There's a grind to it. And the secret to success is easy. It's simple. There's only 2 reasons for you to become successful. Love God and work hard.
Amen.
That's it. That's the secret to success. But if you can't do that, it's hard for you to become successful.
And one thing that caught me was Nalu said, they've been doing a lot of things free. So this is where Korean comes in. Yeah.
Answer prayer.
Yeah. So how do we do this and monetize so that it's sustainable, right? Because we don't want to just do it for 40, 50. We want to do it for 400, 4,000 and so forth, right? So, and that's why, we're trying to, like the Olympics that we're trying to do, that we got the blessings from the governor. Wouldn't it be wonderful if American Samoa won a gold medal in Olympics? I think, wouldn't that be the first?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
People of 49,000, 50,000 people, and we win Olympic medal in American football.
Give your Fijian story.
Yeah, the rugby, right? We all know the rugby story.
Yes.
American Samoa is American football story. So we're already getting a lot of marketing companies interested in being part of this journey. So it's that aspect of taking the hard work and the secret sauce that Lalu and Diane created, and let's see if we can replicate this. And what they want to do here is raise champions in American Samoa, identify players, and the gold mine. And so my job is to how do we make this so it's sustainable, and also monetize the situation so that we are able to replicate this throughout. So I'm very excited.
Nalu, you want to talk about the team for the Olympics?
Yeah, so basically we were blessed by the NCO?
NOC.
Oh,
NOC.
And NOC.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
NOC. And we just got the blessing from the government and the lieutenant government. You know,
Governors,
and
yeah.
with the governor and the lieutenant governor, and supporting us with this, team that we're gonna, create to go to the Olympics, representing American Samoa. The process of how we're gonna create this team is, we're gonna have invites because there's only 12 players that's to create a team. We have invites that we're gonna send out to certain amount of people that can come and try out for the team. And we believe that kids in Samoa right now are not ready, but we are picking up kids from Samoa throughout the 3 years that we're going to be developing them. So by the time we get to the Olympics in 2028, we believe that hopefully some of these kids are going to be ready to play in the Olympics. But for now, we're going to these tournaments get qualified. So we got to win a certain amount of tournaments to get qualified. As we're going to this tournament, we have some of these kids we're going to select from American Samoa to play in the tournament, but also develop them to get them ready for the 2028 Olympics.
So who are the main selectors in American Samoa to pick those kids?
Well, it's going to be myself, and there's going to be coaches we're going to be flying in. What we didn't want to do is we don't want to get political with the process. We
Thank
want to
you.
get people on the outside that can come in and look at the talent and have them make the decision.
Right.
We didn't want people from here to get involved in that because we want to see the talent for ourselves. We don't want to hear from some of these guys telling us, well, this is this person's son, this person's willing to donate, the dad is willing to buy tickets or whatever, but they want to get their son. We're not going to run the process that way. We're going to be honest. We believe in our faith. A lot of the things we talk about here is a lot has to do with our faith. So we believe we're going to bring in the right people to select the right kids. And it's not going to be 12 kids. It might be maybe 2 kids. It might be 1 kid, depending on what we see. It might not even be any kid. You know what I'm saying? But we might have a structure of kids on the side that we might select just to kind of develop. But we're going to look at the process and we're going to make sure that the process is done correctly.
And funding source for all this process?
So we are working. There's another aspect of this. Lee Steinberg is one of our partners. Lee Steinberg, it was a guy who Jerry Maguire movie was about. He is one of the greatest sports agent in NFL. So we're teamed up with him. We also are teamed up with marketing agents. So we have a presentation to some of the major endorsers. We are talking to the apparel and the network from Netflix to Peacock to Prime to be able to sponsor this along with other major endorsements. Meanwhile, the Raising Champions will be doing the foundational, all the funding for this. So that's where we're looking at right now. But we're very excited this because success breeds success.
right.
So if we're able to meddle in this, the marketing aspect of it is just so many people want to be part of this. So our goal right now is how do we become successful in Olympics, and everything will follow.
Right.
Ise vaenga fia whaopoko i le tūlanga leo o le Olympics i le ngana Samoa mo le whaafonga mai fo i le tātou tunuu ia mai se ia i lātou o lo mai mo ina le tātou kokalame. Whenai sa undoa i le vaenga leo le maua o le avanoa i le Olympika lau whionga nganuan.
Yeah, so sisilava if awa i le competition there where it's going into the Olympics. Yeah, we're going to be sending out invites. O invites la I think we're gonna go through Coach Pooch. Pooch knows a lot of the talents out here. Yelana, that's gonna send out some invites to some of the kids, and we'll get our coaches, out here to Samoa to where they can evaluate the coaches that are actually going to be coaching these kids during the Olympics. So they're the coaches that I need out here that can see the talent and see who they can develop and take them back to where we can start getting these kids acclimated.
I told them I can be a kicker, but they said no.
Te masalo e lo te mamau, e lo te uliste me lo tātou pokalame, o te leo lope i se vaenga e fia wha mautu i le tātou talanoanga nei.
Koe whapopo aku le tau le me kau pule kalunga mai ei a ngano. O le au ku o le whakulanganga o le whatulanga inga o le au ka alo le. Ia mauki ngoa le e kāku whangau. Coaches for I whaiaonga I high school, mo le football I Samoa. O le sosoangi I alo whangau o kako o le aku. Ka meki e ka lengi I mwhai la koma. Ele whape a whape e a inga o I a ima o le mafuanga ngā le ka mo mai inga. E ka kaunga mai tunga ka mai whakofo I o mai baba ai ka lengi. Baba ai le skill level ka meki e ka alo. Ia wainge I ni whai ki o ngā voi ia ala kungu whape ia na ngō la kari I o ai lea o le nethi o ai lea whape. Peo lisi ngā mea ka ua foi a ka kau peka so le whape ngā le ka kou aro koi whale e kau foi whamarama kulanga whape ngā.
As a mother of Tuatanga Wailoa and as operations manager of this whole operation, what are the programs plans for expansion and growth in the future, Diane?
Expansion and growth, just seeing everyone win. What you're going to get out of Raising Champions is training and development, but also structure. Because these kids are now able to make money, there's structure, so there has to be an LLC in place. These athletes are now CEOs of their business. Their brand is them. Nutrition, rehab, recovery, all of these things come into play. Expansion, we're also now have launched an agency. So we're developing the relationships from a very early age and all the way through, even into the NFL. So now we're able to represent these kids at the NFL and the pro level too. Again, the expansion is just to see these kids develop. It's a long-term relationship, and see these kids become fathers and kings of their own households, have their own families, and leave a legacy. I'd love to see Raising Champions leave a legacy.
As a mother of a superstar Tuatanga Wailoa, what is your advice to all the mothers watching this show tonight?
Faith. Just continue to stay prayed up. Just continue to stay prayed up. Many nights before we moved to Hawaii, before we moved to Alabama, I would pray over my husband when he's sleeping. I pray over my children when they're in their rooms. And that was something that was different because when Tua moved to Alabama, I couldn't do that anymore. So we moved to Alabama, and I still prayed over the children every night. And I truly and honestly believe that that's why they are who they are today. That's why we are who we are today. We're blessed with a platform to give back to everyone. But my one simple advice is to continue to pray and remain with your steadfast faith that everything will work out. You don't have to know football. You don't have to know football to know your child. You know your child better than anyone else. Their demeanor, you know when something's wrong, pray about it. When you know something just doesn't seem right or something probably bothering them, if you're expecting them to play, but they're not playing. All of these things. You pray that they are going to be surrounded by good people, good coaches, good mentors, because that's who you're trusting your son to. So, long answer short, pray. Just continue to stay prayed up.
Haftai. Ngaluenga Tangawailoa, you grew up in Vatia before you moved to Hawaii and then to Alabama. As a typical Samoan man and raised a champion, what is your advice to all the fathers watching this talk show today?
I think my advice to all the fathers that are, engaged into this program and are watching is don't give up. Don't give up your dreams for your son. Stay engaged, stay empowered in everything that you guys do. Pray. Just like what my wife was saying. There were nights where I was sleeping and I would wake up and I would see her over me praying. Mm-hmm. And I would close my eyes again because I thought I was dreaming, And then, wake up later, she's walking around and I'm thinking, oh, maybe she was just walking around, But I would see this and I actually thought I was dreaming,
You thought it was your time?
But at the same time, I was grinding. I was working. I got my kids. It's like I would dream football, sleep football. I would do everything, but not knowing that I had a prayer team behind me that was praying for my protection. Because at the time, I wasn't a prayer, All I thought about was working out, working with the kids, get them going. That's it. I didn't really care about school. I felt like my kids could make it to, the NFL without school. You know what I'm saying? And I realized that they couldn't. I've seen so many great talent, great gifting that they were blessed with that could just not make it because of their schooling, because of their mind. I've seen some make it, been in the NFL, and they're so good, but their mind could not pick up the plays, could not understand the schemes. And what happens, they end up cutting them, but they're so good, they're such good players. So being in school, getting educated, and for all the fathers out there, don't give up on your kids' dreams. One thing my dad told me, every Sunday doing churches, and I think if my sisters and my family would see this and listen to this, they would laugh because they know oh yeah, my brother used to get scoldings all the time from my dad. But on Sundays, once the Launa started, I stand up with my kids and we go to training. And my dad used to get mad. Then one day my dad said, so he sat me down and he said, son, ang alulo ulu e kalesi e pele alumo ulu ilo whanau training ya. Meaning he's trying to tell me the way I hustle with my kids, if I was to hustle like that with church, it would have been. But I felt like that's what God put in my heart with the platform, working and hustling for your kids. Find a future for your kids before you try to find a future for someone else. And that's my ultimate message to our fathers and our families. Don't stop. Don't, because the good Lord sees your work. Work without faith is dead. Faith without work is dead. So it has to go hand in hand.
Lee Tang,
Yeah.
I know we're close to the closing of your program here, your talk show here. But before you close, I wanna say this. As a member of this executive team here, and member of the racing champions here, it's very rare. I don't think if you do, I don't think if any one of us have had remembered a time where a parent of a most famous football player or any kind of athletes in professional level have taken their time. They could have been in Miami. Where's the pregame last weekend?
Preseason in Miami.
They could have been in Miami Stadium
Supporting their
watching their son. I mean, just enjoying the sun, enjoying watching their game, their son, and enjoying the wealth, the new life.
Man,
But just to have them take out of their comfort zone and travel. Nalo was telling me, man, I have to travel all the way from Alabama to, travel all of this way and spend a whole week here
Yes.
with us, pushing this through. It's not for their kids.
Yes.
It's not for their family. It's not have nothing to do with grow their wealth. It's for us. So I want to say this to the Tonga Valoas, and this is very humble for me. I mean, I'm sure Daniel and I think the same. And also for you, to have them come out here and just pledge their support.
Thank you.
From the governor, lieutenant governor, and also for ASNOC, and now with DOE. I know DOE is waiting for us. They want something from them, not from us. So I want to take this time, on your show to say thank you, Ngalo. Diane, thank you so much for taking the opportunity to do this with us.
Yes.
We'll be here and we'll support you 110% all the way through.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tao, for
Yeah.
you're welcome.
I don't mean to be the last one to speak on this show.
When people mention your name, Daniel Myang, two things I remember of you: God and successful. Your final words before we close?
At the end of the day, it's all about God. It starts with God, ends with God. And if you want to look for a champion of success, you got to look to God. That's the source of everything. And when God blesses you, his yardstick of success is different from our yardstick.
Right.
Our thoughts, not his thoughts, not our thoughts. And instead of you asking God to align to your vision, we need to start aligning to his vision.
Yeah.
So praise the good Lord, and thank you for this opportunity. And we're so thankful to be part of this great movement called Raising Champion. It's because it's God-focused and being able to disciple the next generation to be like Nalu, like Diane.
No, Fiona, to your phone?
Well, I think, everything has been said by Brother Daniel and Nalu. And I kind of picked up with Naluenga, the statement that he made, o le te talo mga lue, a te talo oe e le ngā lue, ia e whaifua. A ngā lue foi oe e le talo, e whaifua. So, these two obvious statement has to go hand in hand together. But, whaftai atu nei taimi. Tātou whatisinga, whaftai atu i lo sulo whiama te pou,
Okay.
mo le wanua.
There you go.
And Ngalu and Diane is flying out tonight. You may have a safe trip, and we'll see you guys up there.
Yes,
and,
thank you.
And also, me and Brother Daniel will fly out on Thursday, and Brother Jerome
Next
will
week
be
is here.
So, and thank you again. Tapu,
Diane, for your final words?
Just thank you. Thank you so much for this platform.
Yeah, ole saunga whai ui i lau sunga ngā renga tangawailoa. Whapong whoisia tātou turu.
Well, first of all, man, thank you so much. Thank you for your time and also allowing us to be a part of your show. For our, people and, our families and friends that are out there, listening, thank you so much for your support. We appreciate everyone. We ask that you guys support the best radio station or also support the best TV station. Tonka Man has been serving and been doing a good job with with Samoa and all around. But at the same time, we wish the families and their children and those who want to get involved in sports and however we can be a help or however we can be of use to you folks. Please don't hesitate to reach out. Don't hesitate to get our information. Tonka Man is gonna be giving out the information and who to be contacted here that can reach out to us. Whakataitere lava.
Nā whaafonga e tātou tunu Amerika Samoa ma lau whaafonga mai o le tal noanga nā ma le komiti whaafoe le nei po le board le nei o le Raising a Champion I Amerika Samoa. Awane ngalo tuli tau mai pēr tātou whaasalaunga o le a tu ai nisi o whaalau I loa a le nei lava komiti whaafoe I le process ma le whaatulanga ina o le filifilinga o alo ma whanau o le atunu o le ama whai o na recruit pē anga waa e malangatu mo le nei Port Kalame. Ma le tua le saunoanga le sunga e a tanga wailoe Stevie Wasola. E le ai se whaapolkiki, e le ai se campaign, e le ai fo I mi whainga whaato sinanga, e filifili ai lo watali, po lo walo I tu tonu o le Port Kalame le nei. O le ai ni tangata tama mai whaapitoa, coaches, o le amalanga mai atunu o mamau. E la tau te soala upule, tu uvaava aia, ma siaki le lei, ia I la tau o le a filifilia I tu tonu o le Port Kalame le nei. Whamnui tele le tua I lau sunga ngā wenga tanga wailoa, me se foi o tina o le ainga I a Diane tanga wailoa, I le nei me alofa tele o lua whaia mo Amerika Samoa, o le tuua o lo lua ainga, o le tuua o au lua me tau tino, ma le comfort zone po o lo lua si o manga fia o lo iai, ai malanga mai a Amerika Samoa, ina ia toe whaafoi mai, mai toe soani e race se champion, pe toe fuatai se o langa, o se siampini, mai alon whanau o le tunu. Whaafitai foi mo lau no whaasoa, I lunga o le nei talk show, e soani ai I se mātua o lo struggle, po lo matua I whinau I le taumawhainga o le atia ina o se atali I po o se awhine I tu tono Amerika Samoa. It's a privilege to be on this show with you, Mr. Daniel. Thank you very much for your time and hope you sponsor this program in the coming weeks. Ia, o le tātou Port Kalame na le aso whaapteitele I lau sunga tu ia whono, whaaptei fo I lau sunga Jerome, ia mo le awa no mātango fia whaiai o na tātou wheiloa I le nei aso. Manuia toi fo ia tu ia te ulua, whaafoisia I whanau maainga o lo whaamuri mai, o lau tau ona nei, tau pau tau lawe tolu ono, tala tau I talk show, tō whaasoi fua.